In this exercise, we're talking about the bacterial cultural characteristics. This is where you are going to be looking at how the bacteria grows under certain conditions and make note of those characteristics. It's all like pieces of the puzzle once again, and you're going to put those pieces together to help you identify what organism you're working with and under what conditions does it grow best. What does it look like? So one thing you will look at is temperature. You need to test a range of temperatures to see where it will grow. And then within that range, what is the optimum growth temperature? Where is it that you're going to see the highest amount of growth? This is going to vary between different bacteria. So some bacteria, it'll be room temperature. Some will be 37 degrees C. Some it may be very cold, around 4 degrees C. So you need to find out what is the best temperature for that particular organism to grow. You're going to look at how it grows on a petri dish. What does it look like? And this is where you want to do a streak isolation so you can look at individual colonies. You can see what color, what's the pigmentation there? How big is the colony? What are the margins like, the edges, the elevation? What does it look like when you look from the side? What is the form? You want to make note of all of these observations. This is where you get to be very curious and look at things. When we talk about the form, we're talking about how does that colony look on the plate? Is it circular? Or is it kind of like, boy, someone just kind of has a dab of a mess spot there. Is it filamentous? It looks like a bunch of strings in there. Or rhizoid, where it looks almost like some roots of a plant in the soil. So what does that look like? Look at the colony from the side. So hold the plate on the side and look at it. Does it have a nice raised or is it flat? Does it look like a dome on it? All of these are important observations to make and write them down, keep track of them. The margins, you're looking at the edge of the colony. Is it nice and smooth where we call it entire, or is it stringy where it's filiform? What does that look like? If you grow it in a nutrient broth, you want to see, is there a lot of growth? What's the amount of growth? And what does that growth look like? Remember, in broth, if there are no bacteria growing, it should be nice and clear. If there are bacteria, it should be cloudy or turbid. But do you end up with a bunch of sediment on the bottom? Do you end up with a film? It looks like a film membrane across the surface of it. Are there little flecks in there? Once again, what does it look like? Also in a broth, you can determine what the oxygen requirements are. Typically in a broth solution such as nutrient broth, at the top of the tube near the surface, that is where the oxygen concentration is going to be the highest. As you move down the tube towards the bottom, that's where the oxygen concentration is less. So where is the growth of your bacteria located? If most of the growth is like this tube where it's at the top, that's indicative of an obligate aerobe. It needs oxygen to live. If most of the growth is at the bottom, this is the reverse. This is where it's an obligate anaerobe. It doesn't like oxygen. If it's mostly at the top, but you do have some spread throughout, that's a facultative anaerobe. It prefers oxygen, but it can grow without it. And if it's uniform throughout its aerotolerant anaerobe, it doesn't matter. It's happy no matter what the oxygen concentration is. If it's fine there, that's fine. If there's no oxygen, well, that's fine too. So learn to be very observant and make note of these various characteristics, whether it's growing on a petri dish or whether it's growing in a broth. It can tell you a lot of information.